round of applause to the amazing dancers. So I'll start off just by very briefly introducing each of them. I'm going to let them tell their own stories though. We have a number of questions to ask them. We also have some questions that were submitted from our audience. If you do have questions as we go on, please, this is meant to be very interactive. Put your hand up, ask your burning questions. Of course, we ask, please be respectful, first and foremost. But ask the hard questions, ask what you want to ask. So, from all of the hardest questions, yes. So, hello everyone, I'm Claudia. I'm very excited to moderate this panel. I've got Bercy Cortez over here, Adolfo and Awesome. So I'm going to start off with a question for all of you. Whoever wants to start can start. What first drew you into the world of dance and salsa, bachata? When did you know it was going to be a career and not just a hobby?
Hello everybody, how you guys doing? Well, I was in Mexico in university studying industrial engineer, and I went to take a salsa class. My roommate took me, let's go take the salsa class. And I was like, listen, I'm from Peru, so either you have it or not. You know, salsa is not something that you learn in a class, it's something that you're born with, you know, street, you know. And I still went to the salsa class, and my instructor, Aliaga Arellano, is a great Mexican dancer. Just came back from Puerto Rico Salsa Congress, I think the second edition. He was switching to the Puerto Rican style, you know, the on-two dancing. He was dancing Cuban dance before. And I just fell in love with it. You know, it was, that first class was amazing. I was, oh my God, I want to do that. And I was playing soccer at the same time. And I started dancing every day. Never thought about doing it for a living, but it became my passion, like every day. And then all of a sudden I found myself already teaching and in Mexico and wanting to perform. And still then I wasn't looking at it as my job. It just came little by little, you know, one show, another show, you know, people like it. I love what I was doing. And at a point I was in New York, and I was working at a nursing home, and I remember that I had 6 months ahead booked, 90% in Europe, and that's when I had to make a call and say, do I want to keep doing my day job and, you know, keep escalating in my career, or I dedicate myself to dance? And that was the moment that I said, you know what, I'm going to go for what I love and start dancing and quit my job. And that was back in 2004, and 2025, we're still here. Yes.
Well, you threw it on me. Hi, I'm Kate. So I first started dancing when I was 5. I'm 31 now. I know, damn. When I first started dancing, believe it or not, it wasn't something that I liked. I just did it because in the neighborhood that I grew up in, it was either sports or dance. And I tried the softball, and it was not for me at all. I was thinking of like quitting and not dancing anymore, like around 6 or 7. I felt like it wasn't for me. And then I saw the competition team at my studio, and from there on out, it just clicked. Like I wanted to be a part of the older girls, the girls that were pushing themselves. And from there on out, like dance just became very important to me. When it became a career for me was when I found myself, I went to school for teaching, for early childhood education, and I was a substitute for a little bit, and I was offered a permanent position, but then it entailed giving up gigs, and I was like, I can't do this. I feel like the education system is always going to be there, and I feel like this is my now. I can enjoy it while I still have the strength, I still have my youth, and I know that education I can always go back to. So in that moment, I want to say 23, 24, when I decided this is it for me. And I made it my career, and I officially started to put my everything into it during the pandemic because we didn't really have anything else to do. So what I would do is I would put music on, especially bachata, and I would just push myself to do different things musically, and that's when I started to develop what everybody calls like my own style and try to make it more unique to me. And yeah, since the pandemic, it's just been everything for me. And yeah.
Okay, so actually, I don't know, maybe some of you know it, but I started dancing just by a mistake. Like, I used to play percussion when I was a kid, little, and I was singing. I know my voice is always bad, but I used to do it. And when I arrived in the high school, I don't know here, but you have to choose like an extra activity, like something like, I don't know, like gymnastic or something like that. And I wanted to keep playing percussion, and actually I just chose the wrong one. And I arrived in one class, and all the ladies were wearing like ballet clothes, ready for the class like this, and I was like, oh my God. And then I went to the director, and I told her like, I want to change to another class, and she told me like, okay, there is like a trying period, and you have to wait. And after that period, you can maybe find someone who want to change with you. So I had to stay for a month on that class. And then the second class, they arrived saying like, okay, so we used to do like a musical for the year. And this year, the topic of the musical is gonna be like salsa history. And I was like, are we gonna dance salsa for a year? We know already how to do it. I was like, yeah. So then we just started doing like everything in a year, like Cuban and mambo from Mexico, and not so well done, but it was so nice. And I just got in love with the salsa. And that's why I started dancing in different companies and teaching, assisting the teachers. And then I was going to the university, and I got like, someone just invited me to come to Malaga and join a school and dance with someone. And I was a little bit afraid, but actually I had to choose between just keep going on the university in Venezuela or going to Europe for dancing. And I don't know, I'm like this, and I just say, okay, I'm gonna go, and this is how I arrived here.
We did have one audience question. One that was, why did you move to Spain? But you've already answered that.
Oh yeah, that's why.
The other one, similar for Adolfo, why Italy, and then why go back to the US?
Well, Italy was because Milan is like the center of salsa in all Europe. It's the strongest place, and even now, but I would say back in the day in 2007, 2008, like the strongest dancers were in Italy. I remember in a weekend you would have Juan Matos and Fogarate in one nightclub, Michael Fons in the other one, Tropical Jam in the other one, Adolfo Fantania in the other one, Swing Guys in the other one, Alberto Clavenera. Milan was, all the strongest dancers of salsa were in Milano. And also has 3 airports, and Italian people, I always say, they are like Latin Americans. We were very alike, and it was a great place to work as a salsa artist. Italy was, at that time, it was great. So that's what I picked, to go from the States to Italy. I always like challenges, and like everybody was telling me, like don't go to Milano because all the big names are there. I'm like, well, I'm going to Milano, So because it was kind of like proving myself that I can make it there, right? So that's when I decided to go to Milan, and it was great. That time it was honestly amazing. A lot of inspiration to go around. And then New York, it just happened that I traveled to Ecuador from Italy directly. I remember Amneris was 7 months pregnant with my daughter Diana, and I landed in Ecuador, and I checked my phone, and it was first 15 cases of COVID-19 in Lodi. Is 25 kilometers from Milano, from where I had my apartment. And I was like, listen, you need to grab your stuff, take a flight, come here. Everything's gonna go well. Like, listen, Europe is gonna be closed next week. I had a gut feeling, I was like, listen, you need to get here because Europe next week is gonna be closed. And I convinced her I have to fly her into a low cost to Spain, and then from Spain to Peru, and then from Peru next week we were in Atlanta, I remember. So we went to Atlanta because in my mind I was like, if there's any country that's going to handle the pandemic in a right way, that for me was the States, and that's what I decided to do. And it was a gut feeling why I ended up in the States. And then during the pandemic I was working with virtual school. And I started realizing that, I like to be back in the States, and a lot of things I was missing, and the main things that kept me in Europe weren't there anymore. So I decided that it was the right moment to stay back. That's it, yeah.
Kate, question for you. You're equally known as amazing bachata and salsa dancer. What do you see yourself more as? Do you have a preference? And going forward, is there one style you would like to focus more on?
I saw you side-eyeing me. I don't know why. Growing up as a dancer, I was very versatile. I didn't even start off with salsa bachata. I started off with ballet and then jazz and tap, which is another reason why I'm not sure if you all are familiar with my company back home. But the reason why I chose to name them Kate's Dance Company versus Ladies Bachata Team or Ladies Salsa Team is because I teach my dancers all different styles. Salsa, bachata, one style that I'm known for, and every time we go somewhere, believe it or not, I'm not even asked if I'm going to do bachata or salsa. They ask me if I'm going to do Bollywood all the time, every time they see me. Me, personally, I don't associate myself mainly with one style. I like to think of myself as a versatile dancer. With me specifically in my brand, you never really know what's coming next with me. I teach bachata in New York a lot just because there are a lot of studios that teach a lot of salsa. Empire is one of them. We have other studios as well that teach mainly salsa, but not so much a lot of bachata. And if they do bachata, it's not really traditional style. There's probably just one other studio that teaches a traditional style. So that's why in New York I keep to a lot of bachata, because it's starting to slowly fade. Alex and Desiree still teach, but that's more towards New Jersey. So usually going into the city, it's kind of hard to find. So teaching wise, I do get hired a lot for bachata. And then performing wise, I perform mainly with my girls. I perform bachata, and then with salsa. With my girls, I perform salsa with them as well. But recently, Adolfo actually got me out of my rut last year, which I know was a surprise to a lot of you. Probably sitting here, you turned on Summit, and then randomly, there's Latin Soul at a competition, and then there's me with Latin Soul, which was completely random for all of us. But at the time, I felt like my love for salsa was starting to fade, and it started with me asking Adolfo if I can come to the studio and just train, and then training ended up with me being a part of the team. And who knows, we'll see what the future. We'll see what 2 weeks, what happens in 2 weeks. So yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move along to talk a little bit about dance technique and your philosophies around that. How do you balance preserving tradition and also modernizing and innovating and putting your own spin on different moves?
I didn't get anything. Oh, okay. I got it. Sorry. Okay, sorry for my English. Actually, for me, I grew up, I took, 1,000 classes during all my life, and maybe 900 were really bad classes. And actually for me, I just learned how to don't teach or what I don't want to learn. And then I started studying, when I came to Europe, actually, I keep studying with all of them, of course, with Adolfo, with Juan, Michael. And for me, something really important is I need to know about the history, I need to know how the movements, how do you have to do everything properly, and the how do you say, como las raíces? The roots, yeah, sorry. But after that, I loved the fusion because when I started dancing, as I told you, the first year I did everything, but also like my family didn't have for me to study, what I wanted to study. So the good stuff, the good part is like in my country, in Latin America actually, we have like a lot of free classes or places that you can go and do a lot of cultural stuff for free. So I used to go to all the classes and learn all mixing, and that's why I love to mix. So now I just recommend like study the history, study the roots, and after you learn how to do everything properly, you can start doing your own fusion or just like doing a fusion between all the different styles that you like. So this is what I do. Afro.
Me personally, when I choreograph, I like to mix styles. That's very common for me. What I like to do and what I stress the most with my company and even with my students is the technique. The technique, no matter what, never changes for me. It doesn't matter what it is that you're fusing together. I'm someone that I'm a stickler for lines, so your arm should be in a nice, beautiful line. Everyone should have the same exact line. The same thing when it comes to kicks. We should all be at the same level. All of our feet should be pointed. I'm very on top of what it's like to really have technique and showcase that. Another thing that I feel like, not too much fusion on my end, but what makes my choreography that I feel like stand out a little bit more, especially that I always perform with a large team, is my formations and making sure that everyone is getting to their spot when they're supposed to. Styles that I would say that I like to incorporate, whether it be salsa or bachata, I like to incorporate when it comes to tricks, not making it messy or too acro-ish, and I don't make it 90% of the routine, if that makes sense. And I try to go more for the cheer structure. If anyone is familiar with cheer, what they do is when they're in a big group, they'll do one big routine, one big choreo, and then when it comes to tricks, they'll do like a pyramid section where all of the group is partaking in one trick. That is my max for that. I won't have like every 2 seconds someone's flying over here, kicking over there. It's all together. So when it comes to technique, I would definitely say that I prioritize the technique. And when it comes to infusing other styles, just kind of like what Bercy said, if I'm going to infuse other styles, I make sure that I'm well trained in that style before I'm just placing it on there, because I also don't want to disrespect, especially when it comes to other styles. For example, going back to Bollywood, there is a culture behind that. So I do have a mentor. It's not always just me and off the top of my head. I work with my mentor first, we work on the choreography together, and then I go and I add my little twist on it and we'll make the end product.
Well, for me, I'm very classic. I like mambo, salsa, I believe, yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, it has to be for everybody, there's those that like a lot of fusion, there's those that like traditional Afro, there's those that like traditional mambo, we still have people that dance on one LA style, like version, and I think that is the beautiful thing about our scene, but with time, I believe also, in salsa we have developed our own technique, and the level is very high in the technique that we have nowadays. For salsa, like if you go back to 2003, 2004, you could be a advanced social dancer maybe after 6 months, a year, Now, for you to be an advanced dancer, like you really need to study years, and the turnbuckles have changed so much. Back in the day, a double turn, that was wow. Now, it's something that you teach in the beginner levels, and I think like everything, that's probably why also now we have other dances coming in, because salsa has become not beginner friendly, and that's something that I'm trying to fix also at my studio. I'm trying to be more welcoming to people that is learning how to dance, because we're trying to, I feel like we neglect a lot of beginners, even in the social settings. You have beginners coming to social and they don't know what to do because they get scared about the level of dancing. Talking about fusioning, I like to fusion stuff, but I basically do everything mambo-ish. So whatever I do, I make it a mambo look, right? And of course, I'm constantly studying, I'm constantly taking lessons, constantly learning and opening my mind to new things. And until I don't feel comfortable enough, I don't mix it. So I think that's something that all of us have in common. The higher the level you have, the more time you have, and that you realize that you still have a lot more to learn, and you are able to put yourself in the student perspective. That's gonna help you a lot, and that's and also give me motivation. You know, like I take lessons and I can put this over here, and I like to fusion, but fusion my way. I have a very limited body motion, so I like everything that is like el baile de los viejitos, like song, clothes, or I don't do like I'm totally the opposite. For example, for Tanya, right? Tanya is the opposite. She has too much movement. So I like to get all the things, even when I study Afro, when I study Son, everything that is very small motion, so tight, because I'm not very flexible. But I make it look good on myself, and that helps a lot. But definitely I would say that it's 90% mambo, and then the rest I put a little trips.
One question we have in the audience for Adolfo specifically, they're seeing you do a little bit more Afro mambo. Is that something that you see incorporated more and more in the future? Are you more interested in it?
I've always been interested. I'm a big fan of the Afro-Cuban culture. I love song. Actually, at a time a few years ago, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I represent New York style, but some songs I like to dance them more as son tempo than New York style. And then I realized that is just taste, and I have that thing that I believe you should dance with the music, regardless of the matter if you're dancing son tempo or 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, or it's like dancing a timba on 2. It's like you dance a timba on 2, it feels off, So you need to go a little bit with the music. And the fact that probably lately you've been seeing a little bit more of Afro lessons is because now I'm in the time that I'm taking Afro lessons weekly, so I get inspired there. So in my classes I start using more, but it's nothing like you're gonna see me, trying to do stuff that microphones does or something. Yes, right now it's what I'm concentrating and focusing myself on studying. So you're seeing more influence of that in my classes. It's like if I'm studying tap, you're gonna see my classes that is all tappy, and it's just that I'm getting motivated with that right now.
Another question we've had from the audience, for those of us here that dance and perform, they would love some tips for how to strengthen your body, prevent injury, and be able to dance very long hours for a very long time. So anything you can help with.
Why are you sitting next to me? Stretching definitely is key. I feel like for a lot of us dancers, even professional, we're so used to going on the go. Sometimes we're going class to class and we don't really have time to stretch. But stretching for sure, I know it sounds very simple and it's just like, oh yeah, no stretching. Like no, a real good deep stretch definitely helps with avoiding injuries. One thing that I do with my dancers, which I was working with a challenge earlier and it kind of like surprised me. I don't know if it's a New York thing, I'm not sure if it's just how I was brought up as a dancer, but keeping the room warm at all times is something that I prioritize. I joke around with my company and I tell them they have to earn their air, meaning like we need to sweat so much in here that we need to be sliding on the floor before I can turn the fans and the ACs on. So my company specifically, they're not allowed to rehearse with the fan or the AC on, just to avoid injury, because we're also dancing with a large group of girls. We're throwing each other all over the place, and it's like if one dancer is more warm than the other one, and I toss her and I send her flying and she's not ready because 1, she didn't properly stretch, 2, she's not warmed up, then someone's gonna get hurt. There have been injuries in the past on my company that I've seen full force, and it's just from simple things like that, of the misconnection in a trick, or also you have those dancers who don't properly warm up, and then they just, because their stamina also isn't up to par, they're just throwing themselves, and then the other person at the end of that trick isn't going to receive them well. So I would definitely say stretching, making sure if you are a performer or even if you're taking class to make sure that you're going full out and your body is warm before you start trying all those crazy stuff. And I'm going to save the other one because I know what you mean.
I agree.
Sure. Okay. I mean, like, I'm a freaky with food, and I don't eat anything that has a label. I don't eat anything that is processed. I eat only whole foods, and I don't eat starch. I don't drink alcohol. I used to drink alcohol, but always, like, my glass of wine, whatever. But I can see the difference once I stop drinking alcohol completely, and then. And I believe food is 90% of everything. Like, even if you don't work out every day, if you work 2-3 times a week, you're gonna be fine. But food, it's 100% like everything. Like, I see the changes and the energy, and working out, of course, it's important. Rest is one of the things that I would like to do a little bit better, sleep better. But I'm very happy to where I feel. With my body right now, I'm 44. So for being 44, I'm still hanging with my dancers around their 20s, and I'm still faster than them. So yeah, it's a steak. I eat steak all day, every day. I eat steak every day, and I think that's the key. I believe the key is the food. Food is 100% the key. Like, I have this argument like all day, but yes, let's say that 90% I eat meat and fruits and some certain fruits. So my dancers hate me because I eat, they have a Celsius and K2 Celsius. I always make them feel, like, listen, don't drink this shit. Don't eat that. I think it's important. When you're in your 20s, you don't realize it. When you're in your 30s, still, then if you want to keep going for longer, you need to do some stuff to feel even better than before you realize that, But it takes time. I understand that. So, but that's what I would advise everybody: whole foods, exercise, good sleep, and you're gonna be fine.
I agree.
I agree. We do a few audience questions that come in. Some people are directed at individuals. So first, for Mercy, people are saying they're seeing you dance bachata more and more. They want to know if you'll be doing it more in the future.
Okay, I have to say that I love dancing, and it's not like I didn't like bachata before. Of course, I like bachata since ever. But what happened is, when the bachata came out in that sensual style, it was stressful because the people who were coming to the salsa lessons and they were like trying their best to grow up as a salsa dancer or something, they just started feeling like, this is easier. And actually I used to have students, and it happened to all of us, like they were just learning how to step properly when they were doing a salsa basic, and then they seems like they were professionals when they were doing the sensual bachata. So at that time, of course, I started a war in my city. And I decided nobody is going to take bachata lessons in my school. And that's why everybody thought that I hate bachata, but I didn't. It was a fact, like the people, they were taking just the easier way. Yeah? Even like this, I love bachata. I love traditional bachata more than sensual. They hurt my back when I started doing all this kind of stuff. And I hate it. I know you too, right? So, of course, I dance bachata in the social. I like to dance kizomba too, but I really don't understand why I cannot dance just one song with someone. Okay, they told me like, oh no, the first one is because you need to meet each other. Second one is because you need to get the connection. Third one is if you feel good, then we're gonna go for the fourth one. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I mean, like, I sweat just for breathing, because of breathing. So this part of my head is like, plop, I cannot stay like 30 minutes with the same person, so that's why you will never see me in the kiss number room. But bachata, I'm gonna dance.
The second question is for Adolfo. Someone is asking if you could help clarify the difference between Empire Mambo and also Empire Central movement that you have.
Oh, of course, yes. Well, Empire Mambo, Empire Dance Studio is my brand, is my dance studio, is all the teams from my studio. And ESM, that is Empire Essential Movement, is the congress that we organize. And we organize the congress together with Bachata Essential, the biggest Bachata Essential company in the States, that is called Essential Movement. So that's why it's called Empire Essential Movement, because we do a congress that is 50% bachata, 50% salsa, and honestly, we bring like the best from both worlds. I'm really very proud of what we're doing. We're going into the third year next year. We're going to the Marriott Marquis Hotel now. This year we have 2 events. We have an amazing lineup. So I hope you can stop by. Oh, thank you for asking. It's the last week of July into the first weekend of August. Because we do training the whole week. We have the training week, the Mom Experience starting Monday, so make sure you take off for the whole week.
Take off for the whole week. Quit your job. All right, so I've got a few more serious questions, but before we do that, rapid fire fun questions. All right, first one. What is your favorite song right now to dance to?
Hold on, I'm trying. For me personally, it's not a Latin song. Any Tate McRae song. If you're following me on social media, I know you want to block me because I talk about her every day, but any Tate McRae song, I'm up and I'm dancing.
Right now I have it for some reason with Prepárate para bañarte, Tito Puente.
I think my favorite one right now is bachata. Qué pena. Hermanos Lebron Brothers. Yeah, qué pena. The name is qué pena. Oh my God.
Awesome. All right, second question. One dancer, alive or gone, that you'd love to share the stage with? Oh, wow.
I already danced with him, so. Oh my God. Okay.
What?
We already danced together. No, not on the stage, but almost. Okay, I think there are 2, but I'm gonna say one that maybe is my next show with.
Secret.
I don't know what I'm gonna say. It's Michael Phelps. We already danced together, so he's gonna say my name.
I think I have the privilege to already dance with my biggest inspirations. I've danced with Juan, I danced with Michael, I danced with Fernando, I danced with Tito Ortos, I danced with Mike Ramos. Together with Tito, I danced with Bercy. Of course, my partner for life, Tania, but you were talking about artists that we don't collaborate with. So I'm trying to think, honestly, who I would love to dance with. I think he's still alive, and I don't think it's gonna happen. But I would have loved to have. I danced together with Tito and Mike Ramos, and that was for me like amazing. I would have loved to dance with Tito, with Mike, and Freddy Rios. I would have loved to dance with Freddy Rios. Yes.
I thought he was going to say me.
My mentor Eddie Torres, I performed with him too, so I'm very lucky that I've been able to perform with all my dance items.
Yes, resume. Fuck it. Someone that I will want to dance with. I don't know if I will be able to do. I know for sure I've always envisioned us dancing together in like a team setting, but I'm not sure if we would ever be able to do like a duet or anything. But mine has always been Delia Madera. I love her with all of my heart. We've been friends since I first started. And I joined New York Movement because I was going to dance with her. And then she left me, gave me her costumes, and said, "Your turn." So that's how that happened.
All right. What has been your most memorable performance?
Okay, I have to, of course. The first one is gonna be the first time that I danced with the Torres. Of course, it was like, I think like all salsa mambo dancers in the world, ladies, is like kind of a dream to dance with him, no? So I got the opportunity, and of course that was the first one. And the second one, I was already dancing with Rodrigo, and we were in Singapore. And I have to say, like, first, I don't know, it was such a nice show. There were a lot of people, and we were having a lot of fun during the show. And like, you know, when you feel that you are doing your best, you also are getting something so nice from the public. So I think it was the best, and we got like standing ovation, like, I don't know, like for 5 minutes, the people were screaming and we were crying, and yeah, that was really emotional. So I'm gonna sing those two.
I also have two because I couldn't pick between the two. My first one would be going on tour with Raulín for the first time, and going, we opened for him at the United Palace, and when I looked in that crowd and there was so many people there, it was my first time ever doing like an arena with people actually there, and it was like thousands of people, and I was on the big screen at the concert, and I didn't tell anybody at all, and a lot of my family members and friends went to that concert. So imagine you going into a concert and then you see like your cousin or your niece on the TV, and you're like, hello? So that was very memorable. The second one still to this day gives me nightmares and anxiety. I can't watch it again, but the time that I performed with New York Movement and I lost my shoe in front of everybody at the competition, and everybody around the world saw me lose a shoe, and yes, that was, yeah, I got anxiety just talking about it, my hands are sweaty.
Okay, I would say the first one was back in 2004. Yeah, 2004. Yeah. It was a social. Actually, it was on Chocos. You used to have Fridays. Was Mambo Fatigues. It was, yeah. No, it was Mambo Fatigues. I remember. It was the night that my first daughter was born. You know, I was so excited. Like I said, I'm gonna celebrate dancing, so I went and performed. So that was like amazing. And then the second time, I would say, with Tanya, we stopped dancing for a little bit, like for a year or something, when she was performing with Charlie. And we were at Mamboland, Montreal. Mamboland, Milano. We were at Mamboland, Milano. And Cheyenne, good friend of mine, my co-organizer, he told me, he was the one that used to organize Vancouver Salsa Festival with Aswan and a few others. And he told me, you guys should dance together as a surprise, you know, for people. And you know, like, I remember we were in my room all talking. We were like about probably 6-7 p.m. on Saturday night. We haven't been dancing for over a year. And then this number, you know, Camino Mas, we didn't do it like in probably like 3 years or 4 years. And he convinced us to perform. So we said, like, well, you want to go for it? She said, yeah, let's do it. So we started rehearsing. I think we played a song. We didn't even went over it without music. We played our song. We have a few missteps, a few things that we didn't remember. It took us a second round, and the second round was perfect. So we work it. You know, we didn't rehearse anymore. And then we went on the stage, and then when the music started, like, you know, people was literally crying about seeing us, each other, and you know, like the energy that we had together, getting all goosebumps. The energy that we had that night was of the charts. That, I think that is the moment that sealed our partnership, and that's when we decided, listen, we need to, you know, get back together. You know, I was dancing with Lorenita at the time, and I was going to keep dancing with Lorenita, she was going to keep dancing with Charlie, but we were like, listen, we cannot stop this, because there was something special that we felt from from people, and like honestly, like with all the great couples around, and not that many that have stayed after so many years. We are now 14 years dancing together, and I think we mean something to our generation, and we want to leave something that probably not other couples going to be able to live in the scene, and I'm proud of that. And that was a moment that I think a very special moment in the performance. Yes.
So I watched that on Friday.
Yes.
Every time. Yeah, everybody's yelling. That's literally sound.
Yeah, everybody was screaming, "Who's that?" The artist. I'm like, okay. You remember the stage was like black at the beginning. We put all the light, nobody could see it.
So speaking a little bit more about routines and choreography, would love to know what your process is. What comes first? The song, the movement, the story, the feeling. How do you approach making a new piece?
Okay, so for me, it's like, I'm sure it's completely different than for them, because actually something that I wanted since ever, it was like to take my social dancing to the stage, because that was the way that I was feeling good dancing and I was having fun. So actually, when I'm gonna create a routine or something, I don't think, or I don't try to find a song and then or a story or something. I just maybe I'm going on my car. I'm always listening salsa, so I'm just driving and I listen one song and I start just dancing in my mind and I get goosebumps and I'm like, oh, I can do something with this, and I play it again and again and again and again. And then when I go to the salsa class, the classroom, like for rehearsal or something, I think the routine is already here, no? It's like I have to fix some parts or something, so it's something easy because I do it like I want to feel something while I'm dancing, so I do something like social dancing, and I'm sure then I'm gonna have fun. I'm sure they spend more time because they do partner work and tricks and everything, and it's something really more difficult than I do. But that's not it. You do, right? Of course.
For me, recently, I want to say the last 5 years, like what I normally do is I found that when I would start looking for music, I wouldn't connect to it because I would subconsciously put like pressure on the song, like, oh, this song has to meet this, and this. So all of the routines that I've created that are very special to me have come randomly, like I'm just playing music in my house, or I'm playing music on the way to the studio, and it's just going on my car play or at home. And the moment I start to feel like the goosebumps, or my heart is racing, or my brain already, like I'm not really paying too much into it, but I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, I can see this happening or this happening, then I know that is the song for me. That's the song that I have to do. And then I'll put it to the test, probably play it again randomly within the next 2 weeks. If I still get the same feeling, that's it. I'm gonna stick with that song because clearly there's something there for me to work with. So I try not to put too much thought into it because then I start to psych myself out and it's not as fun.
Well, my process is pretty similar. Like for me, if a song is giving goosebumps, regardless of it's fast, slow, charanga, or instrumental, that means that song has something that I can choreograph. So I have my playlist about like of 100 and something songs to choreograph, and I've been using that in during the years. I think the other day I was counting because I was competing with Ferna, sending us messages who has more routines. So I think I'm over 100 routines now that I have done on choreograph, and that's not counting routines I choreograph for other people. But I would say that whenever I feel like it's time to choreograph, I always try to explain this process to people because it's a question that always comes out. How do you get inspiration? And I believe that you cannot force inspiration. You need to let the inspiration come to you. It's like if you tell me, how do you write a poem? I don't fucking know. Like you have to be like you probably are in the afternoon having lunch and start writing. Same thing with a routine. You can be at the airport, you can be at the restaurant, you can be in class, I can be rehearsal. The problem is that once you start understanding how you get inspired, you are able to trigger that at any moment. You know, at the beginning you're gonna trigger that. Oh, I rehearse Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 9. It doesn't work like that. But once you know how to trigger it, then it can come out at any moment you want. The problem is that normally comes when I'm rehearsing with my team and we have other commitments, and you know, I have them stay until 4 or 5 in the morning because I decided to start a new routine at the moment. And normally when I start choreographing a routine, I don't stop until, if I'm taking more than 15-20 seconds in an 8 count, you know, I try once, I try twice, then it means that it's time to stop. But if it's flowing, I don't stop. I don't stop flowing. I just let it come, and if I have to finish it, 3 hours, 2 hours, doesn't matter. Normally all my numbers that has been the most successful have been choreographing in an hour and a half to 2 hours, I would say. With Tanya, I would say even half an hour. You know, we're just getting to the kitchen. Tanya has to choreograph. I have to choreograph with Tanya in the kitchen. Why? I don't know. She likes the kitchen in my house. That's where we need to choreograph. So I have a private dance studio in my basement, and Tanya has never used it because she wanna choreograph in the kitchen. So for the past 5 years we've been choreographing in the kitchen. So, but yes, with Tanya, we say it's a 45-minute process. With the team, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and a couple of rehearsals. Yes. No, I mean, like, I choreograph myself, but I use them because I need to see it. So I tell them, you know, do this, that. I already have some of the choreography in my head, and then I see it, and then when I see it, sometimes it doesn't come out what I see, so like, I have to fix it there.
I have to say that I used to have, when I had the salsa school in Malaga, I used to have Adolfo's team with all the teachers from Malaga, and actually the videos that I got was from his kitchen.
But that was my kitchen video, you know.
So there's a bunch of folks here that are doing the boot camp this weekend, have done boot camps across the board. They're asking for tips, how to get the most value out of those boot camps.
I mean, I think the most value you can get is have a little bit of fun and try to get to know the instructor in a different setting than it's outside. Now I'm a lot more relaxed. Before I was very strict, you know, with boot camps. Now I understand things work a little bit different, and also for me it's very nice to spend time with people that is interested in your art. And I have to say, like I told them today, I believe the level here in Toronto is very good compared to other places, and I hope that Mambo keeps going up the same way. So I'm trying to push your money to get back 100%. But I would say have fun, you know, of course. And nowadays also, I always advise promoters, use technology, you know, so don't have them do a boot camp of 6 hours, 8 hours, or learn a whole routine in 4 hours when they come here. You know, not everybody learns at the same pace, so it's so easy to send the boot camp in a video. I sent it to Aswan, actually Aswan, you know, he's a pain in the neck, but he does it because he cares about you. So since he told me, I need a boot camp by this date, I was like, sure. I swear, the day before the due date, we have the bootcamp for tomorrow, right? So he was already on top of it, but it's because, you know, that's the way it should be. So it can be a good work behind. And I came yesterday, I don't even need to rehearse because everybody knows the bootcamp. So I think that's something good for all these bootcamps. If you can get videos ahead of time to practice, it makes everything easier.
I agree with everything, and the only thing I'm going to add on is just from our student standpoint, all that we ask is that you apply yourself. Even if you're doing it for the training, apply yourself that I'm here just for training. Because often, us as choreographers, we try to go based off of how the room is feeling, because again, we're trying to make it more fun, and we're trying to also get to know you guys on a different level. And you know, we're probably out of here not going to see you for a very long time unless you come to where we're at. So all I ask for, especially as a choreographer, is that if you're going to perform, then apply yourself. Give yourself that 1,000%. And if you're going to go just for the training, then give the training 1,000%. Just because you're training and not performing doesn't mean that you should go in there and give it 50%. Because like, oh, I'm not going to touch the stage, but you still paid the same price. You still have your instructor's time, and then everyone else there probably also made sacrifices to be there as well. So I'm very big on that when you do a boot camp, yes, let's have so much fun because that's the main part of it, but let's also apply ourselves 100%. Yep.
Just a couple more questions before we finish off. The first one is, we talked a little bit about how the dance community has changed, evolved. What do you think the dance world needs more of right now, or less of, in your opinion?
I think, like, for me, it's something like, I don't know, like, for many years, I was studying, like, with all of them, trying to get better and better and better. And today around the world, something that really helped the dancers, but at the same time, I think it doesn't help that much, are the social media, right? Because there are a lot of dancers that maybe just upload a good video, good quality, they look like so beautiful or sexy or handsome or whatever, and then they just start like working. But then when the people get class with them, some of them feel like, oh, I didn't learn anything, or I didn't understand, or I don't know. It's like, I think the people need to keep studying even when they feel they can do the same that the professional dancers do. For example, for me, something important is like, if I want to teach something, I need to really know how to do it and then how to teach it, because it's not the same. To know how to do it is not the same as how to teach it. So it's something really important that for me is like such a big responsibility. When I'm going to teach a class, I want to really teach a technique, a movement, and help the people how to do something and how to becoming a better dancers, and or give them some keys and tips how to improve as a dancer or whatever. So I don't want to pretend to be someone or show off about this is how I look doing a video, but then I cannot do that for the people. So for me, what's important is that, like, to keep learning and learn how to teach before teaching.
No, my turn. Oh my God, this question. Sometimes you have to be careful, but in good old-fashioned me, I don't think I'm going to be careful. I think I'm just going to be 100% real, just because everyone has their opinions, Oh, thanks. Everyone has their opinions, and this is mine. What I do think that we need more of, kind of like what Bercy said, is we definitely need more training. We need more training before we teach. I also feel like, and I learned this, and I'm not saying it just because he's here and just because we have like my boss and I have so much respect for him, but one thing at his studio is every level is respected there, even from beginners. You're respected as a beginner, and when you go into the studio, you feel like no one feels like, oh, because you're a beginner, you're not important. Everyone has importance at the studio, so I feel like we need that at all studios, not just one specific studio, not two specific studios. We're often taught like, oh, the customer is right, but sometimes we have to also realize that us dancers, I do this for a living, we all do it for a living. There's some people probably in the audience who this is just a passion for you, or this is just your hobby, and you just enjoy social dancing after a long day at work. So therefore, that level also needs to be respected. I do feel like it is okay to have that division of I am a professional and I do this for fun, and neither side should be looked down upon. If you are a lawyer, that does not mean you are better than me because you're a lawyer and I chose to be a professional dancer, because I too can be a lawyer if I wanted to, but then I will probably be miserable. And you chose to be a lawyer, and if you were a dancer, you would probably be miserable because that's not what you want to do. So us professional dancers deserve the same respect as anyone else. I'm not saying, oh my God, we're life-changing, but it just goes respect, and I feel like this scene and dance scenes in general lack that respect. That's definitely something I can say. So let's bring back the respect. Let's try that. Another thing, like I said, just because someone at a social, I personally don't mind doing 1,000 basics with someone. When you see a camera, you don't have to do an entire routine that you learn from his class at 10 in the morning, and then fuse it with Bercy's class that you took at 3 p.m., and then you want to put it all together because there's a camera there. That ties into social media. Just always remember that social media is what you put out there. Social media is fake. There are certain people who are authentic and post themselves, and it's like, this is what I have, take it or leave it. Those are the people that tend to get a lot of critique because they're trying their hardest to show you, like, I'm real, I'm raw, and then eventually the comments start to get to them, and then they too start to blend and push you what it is that you want to see. So we need to stop comparing ourselves to other dancers, respecting other dancers, and really going into this with your end goal. If your end goal is to be a professional dancer, then that's the energy you need to bring into your community. If your end goal is just to be a social dancer, or you do this as a hobby, that is totally fine as well. You are more than welcome, and that should be what you mainly focus on. Yeah?
Well, our dance community, okay. I've been in the dance community over 20 years. I think right now we should start bringing politics into the dance. You know, now everybody brings the court of Instagram and, you know, bringing out personal stuff to everybody. I think that is something that is everybody owns its personal business and shouldn't be being under the court of the social media, because first of all, I don't really care about what most people may think or think of me. Honestly, I don't really care. I hear so many good things, so many bad things that I didn't know that they exist, and that's fine too. And the main problem with this is that the example that we're giving, you know, I think already our countries a level of politics are not in a very good shape right now, and we shouldn't follow that example. And also because now everybody likes to be politically correct about, oh, you know, come to the studio, we're a community of this and we embrace everybody. And for me, that's bullshit. Because those are words. At the end of the day, people come to my studio because they want to dance. People come to me because they want to train. I don't care nothing that is going on in your personal life. I don't need to know. We're here to train, and the community is going to build itself if we have something in common. No, because I try to be politically correct and be like, oh no, you know, I have to. Oh no, this is not good. This is bad. Like, no, those are things that shouldn't be in between the dance. Dance should be dance. Dance is a therapy for everybody. Dance is a place that we can escape from work, from problems, from family, from husband, from wife, or whatever it is. Dance is dance, and that's what we should do. Dance together, you know. Like, I'm tired of seeing so many these companies, these companies just family and friends. They don't give a shit, you know. Like, you cannot call family with somebody that just come and take lessons with you. You are a student. I'm your teacher, and we have a respect with each other. Maybe with time. Maybe with a lot of time, we will become friends, we will become maybe family or closer, but we should stop taking so lightly those words as, you know, everybody's my family now, you know, and it's like nowadays we want to say that all the time, so, you know, everybody feels included, and I don't think that way. I think, you know, like, we are together because we share something amazing together that is dance. And that's what dance brings us together. We should try to respect everybody, regardless of whatever they decide on one side or the other. Those are their problems. We're here because we need to dance and we need to train. And people that comes with me because they want to train and they want to dance. And, you know, all personal feelings are yours to keep, not mine. Thank you.
That was a one.
All right, so the very last question before we wrap up. If your question was not answered, if you have a burning question in your mind, it will be here, all evening. So make sure you flag them down, ask your questions. At the end of the day, as you can see, they're all just human beings, and I'm very happy to have you get to know them a little bit more. So the very last question, what's next for each of you? What are some of the projects or dreams that you have on the horizon that maybe you haven't shared yet?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe I didn't think about it because I don't see like the ending part of this. You know, when this is your passion or something, you are not thinking like, oh, this is gonna finish or something like this. So maybe I don't have a next project or something like this. Like, I just wanted to keep just traveling, teaching, spending time with new people, meeting new people, having fun or something like this. So I don't know, I don't see, like, I just keep closing dates and booking dates, dates, because I don't think it's gonna end or something. So I'm happy with this.
What's next for me? My company just had our auditions for our 6th season last week, so as soon as I get back home after this, I'm going straight to work. We have our debuts coming up. We have our 5th year anniversary coming up as well. We usually do the party. No, we usually do the, you see it? Maybe the summit, because someone keeps on. We'll see. We need you. But yeah, in all seriousness, just a lot of work getting my company ready. I have 3 new routines I have to spit off of the top of my brain. I'm thinking of competing again, so who knows, maybe you'll turn on YouTube and there I go again, just randomly spinning somewhere. And yeah, just doing everything that fills my cup. I'm someone that my mental health is very important to me. I know that's something we don't normally talk about because it leads for uncomfortable conversation. But when you're doing a job like this and social media is definitely involved, you have the pressure of what you're supposed to look like, what you're supposed to sound like, what you're supposed to feel like, what your choreographies are supposed to look like, where you're supposed to be as an artist. And all of that becomes very like, that pressure eventually gets to you. So I made a promise to myself that this year my mental health will definitely come first, and I'm going to pour into my cup rather than pouring into everyone else's cup. So I'm going to take it lightly, but I am going back to work as soon as I get back.
Projects was next. Well, actually, that's not a problem I have. My mind keeps building new projects all the time, and it's something that I like a lot. I like very much focusing my energy, everything that's related, of course. And like my good friend Tito Ortos said once, dance is what we do, it's not who we are. And I think dance for me is just a tool that I use, and it have allowed me to change so many lives besides mine. I really can say that I have changed so many lives of young people that is, and now I think they're gonna be the next generation of salsa, and I'm very proud of that. And that's what I do. I believe I enhance people's lives with what I do at Empire. And if I have to say anything about what we do, is we try to bring quality to people's lives, and I believe that when you bring quality to people's lives and you enhance people's lives, that's all you need. You know, your people is always gonna be always gonna have your back, and that's what I love to do. And so far, I'm looking forward to keep doing the same thing, because it's what fills me for real inside when I see others that come through. And you know, not always every breakup or every stop working together is good, but that's okay too, because it's real. That's life. Not everything needs to be perfect. Not everything needs to be all happy. Sometimes it's rough too, but the important thing is that you meet everybody and you're where you need to be in this place right now is because I have to be here, and I'm where I am because I have to, and there's a reason for that, and I'm very proud of the process. So I enjoy the process, and I'm going to keep helping everybody else to fulfill their dreams, because that's what we do at Empire.
To our panelists, give them a big round of applause. And they're going to be tomorrow. We also have an amazing performance. Just the one, is that right?
Yeah. One really good.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
So there's an amazing performance that's coming up. So make sure to stick around for that.
So right now we're going to go to social dancing. Oh, by the way, we got DJ Rocio, okay? We all know twice we said Rosie is going to be here. She wasn't. Right now she's here, okay? She's going to play right now music. going to social dancing. We keep these chairs here, okay, because we're going to have a very short, okay, panel. It's going to be interesting, okay. I want to hear that discussion, traditional versus sensual, okay. Just a little bit of hearing, okay, two different views, okay. And then after that, we're going back to the social dancing, and around 11:30, 12, when Adolfo is ready, okay, they're going to have, you know, their show here with their team, okay, and we will wrap it up like that. Okay, so come on, guys, okay, we're going to start right now. Let's go. We'll see you.